What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the Active Life Podcast. Today, I'm joined by my friend Randall Pich, and we're going to take you through the 9-step process that you can take to go from everyday trainer to brand CEO who's absolutely crushing it, not only for himself and for his family, but for the employees who work for him and help him grow his brand. If you want to know what it takes to go from training one client for no money to what it takes to inspire thousands of people worldwide, this is a podcast that you need to tune into. Randall, man, welcome to HQ.
Thanks for having me.
I appreciate you coming out from California. Long Beach to Long Beach.
Long Beach to Long Beach, that's a trip, dude. Seeing all the signs of Long Beach, the city of Long Beach Fire Department is so weird.
You know, it's funny. Sometimes you'll go to look for a restaurant and you type in something Long Beach. And if you don't type in Long Beach, New York, it's like, oh, I got smoothie bars now? Like, when did all these places open? I'm like, oh, it's California.
Lo just typed that in and it said Cambodian food, because there's a lot of Cambodians in Long Beach, California. And I was like, oh, it can't be. You know, and we looked it up. It was Long Beach, California. Sure enough.
Mm-hmm. That would be cool. We don't have anything like that around here.
No.
Well, so I thought it'd be really cool to have you on the show today because our listeners are fitness professionals, aspiring fitness professionals, and your everyday gym goers who maybe would like to know what goes into the life of being a fitness professional. Mm-hmm. And you've had such a cool story of going from personal trainer. Mm-hmm. I mean, way before personal trainer, you were other things, right? But personal trainer to personal brand to very successful corporate brand. Right now, not corporate America style, boring cubicle stuff. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Corporate though.
Yep.
And I would love for people who are listening to this episode to be able to draw out how they can go from A to Z, coming from kind of like where you came from, or maybe more privileged and easier.
Right.
So do you mind giving them a background of where you did come from?
Yeah. So I was born and raised in Long Beach, California, and I grew up there, went to elementary school, middle school, high school, and did some college there too. I almost finished college, but left because of the training business that took off. You know, so everything I've done in that city. You know, I knew nothing but Long Beach and like Orange County, LA, Los Angeles, and all that stuff. But that was pretty much my upbringing. I mean, Long Beach is a big city back home, very diverse. A lot of culture, so I was exposed to a lot of things, a lot of different backgrounds. So I was just used to communicating with different types of people, different types of, like I said, backgrounds. And so growing up, it was easy for me, I would say, to use those social skills that was built subconsciously in me and apply that to business, if that makes sense.
Yeah, so when you say social skills, essentially what you're talking about is helping people buy what they need to buy from you to help them the way they want to help without being a pushy, sleazy salesperson.
Yep. No matter where you came from, I could help you because I can relate to everybody. You know, I wasn't afraid to talk to anybody. You know, that just the city alone, you know, I was exposed. I started off at Bally's Little Fitness as a trainer. So, you know, there were so many different walks of life that came through that door. I was able to talk to everybody. You know, I wasn't afraid.
So you cut your teeth in personal training working at a very commercial gym, right? Like they had red shirts. If I remember Bally right, is that red shirts?
Red shirts, yep.
Yeah, red shirts. Did you have to tuck it in?
No, fortunately. Oh no, yeah, no, I didn't have to tuck it in. No,
I only asked that because I remember when I was at Equinox, that was where I got I started training at a place called World Gym, which I went to because frankly, I tell people all the time, I wanted to learn how to do things the right way by doing them the wrong way, somewhere people would never find me again. So I went to this terrible gym and learned how to do all kinds of stuff. And then when I went to a good gym, I started working at Equinox. I had a boss who was like, t-shirts are tucked in, hair's like that. Like it was like militant, and it was the total opposite, which I took some value from, and I tweaked on my own. So I was just curious about that for you. Yeah. But so you learned how to do things in a corporate gym environment, and then what happens next? You mentioned that college was basically getting in the way of the personal training business. What do you mean by that?
Right. So, I mean, let's backtrack a little bit. So, you know, even in high school, I would say that's the start of my exploration of business, I would say. I used to play in a hardcore band when I was young. And during high school, I was playing in a band, so I was a drummer. I did graphic design. And in that graphic design class, that's where I learned how to silk screen, make a screen, how to make a t-shirt from scratch, pretty much from Adobe Photoshop to separating the screens, printing out the transparencies, going in the Lightroom, burning everything myself, and then literally setting it all up and making a t-shirt. And while I was in a band, I was the one that was taking care of the designs of the band. So I would make the shirts, and then we lived in Long Beach, so it wasn't too far from LA, and LA is the home of like the garment district, where I can just go buy some, like a dozen shirts for X amount of dollars. So I just knew that because this is where you get it. So I would make designs, get the shirts, print them, and then sell them at shows when we had shows for during our shows, right?
Well, so I want to ask you a question about that, because you're talking about a 15, 16-year-old Randall Pich, right?
Yes.
So I think that one of the barriers that a lot of professionals or want to be aspiring professionals face is, I don't have the money to start a company like Randall did. And what you're describing right now are kind of the seeds that you planted when you were 15, 16 years old to build the skills. What money were you using to buy even 12 t-shirts? I mean, I know you didn't grow up with a silver spoon, so where was that cash coming from?
Right. I had a job too. So at 15, you can get a work permit. So then I started working at this place called Merits Research, which was like not like a telemarketing place, but you were behind the phone taking surveys for corporate companies like Bank of America or Edison and whatnot. So then it was easy money. You could work 4 hours a day. So I would just go to work right after school, and then you get paid every Friday. So I'll just save up some cash, and it doesn't take much to buy a batch of shirts. It's maybe like $50, $100. So yeah, that's where the money came from.
Were you doing cold calls?
Yeah.
So you got to learn a little about sales there too.
Oh yeah.
All right. The cool thing about that though is, while you're saying it doesn't take a lot to buy those shirts, it doesn't take a lot of money. What it does take though is the discipline to say, I'm not going to go to the bar. I mean, you're 15, 16, but I'm not going to buy the comic book. I'm not going to buy the video game. I'm not going to go out to lunch or whatever it might be. And I am going to buy this thing that might not make me any money.
Right. It was solely because I wanted to see my design on a t-shirt. Like, I didn't care about anything else. I didn't care about making profits or whatever. I was like, this is dope. I want to see this design on a shirt, and I want to see our customers and fans wear our shirts. That's it. It's obviously going to make money because it costs money. I got to get a return for it. But that wasn't the priority. The priority, I was just really passionate about this project, this design thing,
Yeah,
so,
you enjoyed the art of it.
Exactly. The creativity, all that.
And so when did that start to really blossom a little bit? Because I know that after that, you had the training business that was starting to take off, and the next move for you was what?
Well, so this was all in high school, right? So then I wanted to be a rock star, do all that stuff, and it obviously didn't happen. I
wanted to play pro baseball.
Yeah, so that didn't happen, and then high school was done. So I got into college, and that's when I slowly started to do bodybuilding, and I got into the men's physique stuff. And that's when I really got into the anatomy and muscle building and all that, and then became a personal trainer because I was really fascinated with that. So as you can already see, once I start something and really are fascinated about it, I go full on in it, So at that point, I'm going to be a personal trainer. So as soon as I graduated high school, I got certified and then got hired on at Bally's Whole Fitness. And that's when I started started in the corporate world of personal training, and with all the structures and learning how to sell training programs, doing all that stuff, one-on-one training, while I was still going to college as well. And in college, I was studying kinesiology, object and exercise science. So it was kind of hand in hand, it was cool. But during the time when I was personal training, I just knew how to close deals, through talking to people. So from our first group of new hirees, the rookies, we'd say, I was already crushing it, and then got a lot of clientele and just became the trainer at that Battle Fitness. And then sure enough, like 4 years down the line, while I was still in college, I was like considered, or they gave you the black shirt. I don't know if it's the master trainer.
So for us, it was just black shirts if you're training a client, blue shirts if you're working the floor, and you got a tag that was like, this is how good this guy is. Yeah. Tier 1, tier 2, elite. Tier 3. Yeah.
Yeah, so I got to obtain that. And then I was still going to college. And then, I don't know if you remember, LA Fitness bought out Bally Total Fitness. So then they didn't want to pay us the same rate, so they laid everybody off and wanted to rehire at this new rate.
Like 18 an hour, right?
No, it was less. It was like $12 an hour. Yeah, it was terrible. So I was like, no way. So then that was, okay, this is my chance, my move to go private. Okay, so then I...
so can we unpack that for a second?
Yeah.
So I think that one of the issues that a lot of gym owners who listen to our show have with the way that we teach people to run their business is we tell coaches, like, if you can't make enough money in the gym that you're at, you have to leave. But we also tell them that as a gym owner side, if someone is leaving, it's because you haven't afforded them the opportunity to be successful in your space.
Right.
And you have an opportunity to partner with people and grow together. And look, I don't think any business was ever going to hold you inside of it. That's the reality.
Right.
However, there are a lot of people out there who don't have the ambition or the comfort with risk that a Randall Pich has, who would stick around with a business for a long time to make $100,000, $200,000 a year. Right. So if you could talk about that, the idea that you left because they were paying you $12.
Yeah, there was no way, I wasn't going to like devalue myself. So I just ended up finding a private gym to rent out of, and then now start really scaling my business to where I don't have to train one-on-one. I can do small private group training and then eventually run bigger boot camps and maximize my time and the amount of money I can make in a certain period of time, right? So then I started my own personal training business. I created my LLC and started branding myself. And the reason why I brought up the whole t-shirt stuff before was that was just knowledge I had in my back pocket. So now when these opportunities came in front of me where I can do my own business, why not have some merchandise for my clients, right? It just came hand in hand. I was like, oh yeah, this is cool. Again, I didn't want to be a worldwide brand. This was just because I wanted to see my cool designs on my clients. You know what I'm saying?
And your clients wanted to rep you.
Yeah, exactly. So this is like years down later to where I was really at the top of my career of personal training. I was, making a 6-figure income.
How old were you?
I think I was 24, 23.
And what were you charging for training sessions at that time?
85. It depends. So like 50 to 100 or something, depending on what package they bought. And I only would sell package deals. And if after the package deal is done, then I would have other techniques of like, okay, well, if you refer a friend, do some group training, I can lower that, but we can, that's a whole nother thing, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, we teach coaches that if you're selling one session,
yeah,
it's got to be stupid expensive.
Exactly.
Because you're providing an outcome. Like
exactly.
If someone wants to learn how to climb a rope because they feel like less of a man because they come to the gym and they can't climb the rope, you charge them appropriately for a life-changing experience that's going to happen inside of, half an hour to an hour.
Right.
After that, it's packages and they got to be less expensive.
Yep, exactly. And that's exactly what I did. So I was comfortable, with this career that I had. I didn't want to do anything else. I was living comfortably. I was happy. I had a lot of time on my hands and I was cool. So then I wanted to go back to my other passion, which was designing and creating t-shirts. And I eventually made a batch of shirts and then sold them to my clients or gave it to them as they re-signed with new packages, right?
So it was like an incentive.
Yeah, an incentive. So I knew where to get the shirts. I knew the pricing and everything. I knew how to silk screen and stuff. So it was really easy for me to maneuver.
And that's because of your experience in the band.
Yeah, exactly. So then I did all that stuff and this was when Facebook was only around, right? So I was like, it would be really cool if I actually filmed one of my boot camp sessions and had everyone wear the shirts just because it would be cool, that it wasn't even marketing it, whatever, in my mind, it was like, all right, this is going to be dope. So we did that. And then everyone just started sharing the video because they were in the video. My clients were in the video. So they would put it on their platform, on their Facebook, and it just went, a lot of exposures, and it got to the reach that I couldn't reach, the market that I couldn't get a hold of, which was my clients' friends and things like that. So, and then...
This is what, like 2013?
Yeah, 11, 12, 13.
Okay. So essentially your clients end up wearing t-shirts that you made for them and a video of themselves working out because you just thought it'd be cool to have your design on a bunch of people in a video, not even to promote a t-shirt brand or anything like that.
Yep.
And all of that came from the experience that you got as a 16-year-old in a band. right?
Yeah, because I believe now that when I had my own personal training business, it's like wherever you are, you carry yourself as a business owner, because as a trainer, wherever you go, that's your brand right there. So no matter where I was wearing my own t-shirt too. I wanted to be known as that trainer, because you never know where you can get a new client, right? At the grocery store, at the gas station, you never know. You might run into someone that you just want to close them on a deal, just like, because you can help them. Yeah. So I was walking around with that mentality, and everything had to be branded. So then, and with the designs, it caught on when people started to repost on their Facebook platform or whatever. There were comments saying, "Hey, that's a cool shirt," because I had the slogan "Live Fit." That was just a slogan for my business, which was RP Fitness. And I had, Live Fit in the front, a little logo on the corner of it, like right by the clavicle area, and the sleeve hit, and then the back print. People were like, "Dude, how can I get that shirt?" And then I was like, well, you don't train with me, but if you want one, I can sell one for $20, And this was like literally just local people from Long Beach, right? Because it said Long Beach, California on the back as well. And then they said, "Yeah, sure, I'll buy one." So I had literally a trunk full of shirts, and I just drove around slanging it to people, right? Selling it to whoever wanted it.
And you're already making 6 figures as a personal trainer.
I was chilling, yeah.
But you were like, you know what? It's worth it. People want this shirt. I want to get it on them.
This is fun, I'll see where this can go. Because I should bring up that I've tried to do previous brands before in high school, like skateboarding brands and other streetwear brands that never took off, so I always had a passion for that. I was like, maybe this can be something, who knows? So I did my first batch of shirts, sold those out. I had enough money to restock that first SKU, and then I used the profits from that to make another design, and that became the second design. And then I initially invested $300 and let that $300 snowball into what it is today.
Which is more than $300.
Yeah, exactly. So it became one SKU, two t-shirts became 3 t-shirts, and then 3 t-shirts became 4 with a pair of shorts, and then a pair of shorts with a hat, and it all became a line eventually. And then I was like, dude, I think I have something good here. Over a period of a year, I believe, when I was actually personal training and running the Live Fit apparel business, I think it was a year into it, until I was like, dude, this is just way too much, because I had to do a lot of shipping. I did everything myself, customer service, all the logistics, and, packaging, taping stuff up, taking it to the post office, and doing all that stuff, right? I was spreading myself thin, but the crazy part was, and this is, I'm not pushing trainers to do this, but it was a calling for me, because I was so efficient at that. And this was like a passion that I've had forever, to where, trainers can do it, because I was making money overnight, because I had a website, an e-commerce website, that people that weren't local could buy the shirts, so I never limited myself. I always made it available, especially with the internet, with the online store. So
it's pillow money, right? Making money while you sleep is better than making money while you're awake.
Exactly.
Well, it's not better. It's just nice to have both.
It's just nice to have, yeah.
And I think that something that's really valuable that might be a little nuanced for people who are listening to this to grasp, that I want to make sure that they hear, is you started in a band, right? You had lines that you tried, because I know you're a skater too. We didn't really get into that, because I wanted to. They can listen to that on a bunch of other podcasts,
right.
But it's all the things that you did added little pieces to what you are now able to do, despite the fact that when you were doing that thing, it's the only thing you ever thought you were going to do.
Right.
So when you were a skater, I imagine you thought, I'm going to blow up. I'm going to be a pro skater. This is it.
Yep.
I'm in a band. I'm going to be a rock star. This is it.
Yep.
I'm a personal trainer. I'm making 6 figures. This is it. I'm selling a t-shirt. Maybe this is it. And it just went and went and went. And you took the skills that you learned elsewhere and stacked them to grow your business, which is awesome.
Yep. It's like the more I lived and became more wise and experienced, I just applied everything that I've learned to what I am today, and what it became today.
I also think what's very cool, Randall, is you started off doing things that don't scale and then figured out how to scale them, as opposed to starting with something and saying, would this scale, before you launch, right? So you were driving around giving people t-shirts. You were mailing stuff yourself. That doesn't scale. And then it was like, well, how would I scale this? Where I think a lot of people make the mistake now of, I can't do this because I can't sell it to 1 million people.
Right.
It's like, well, you haven't sold to one yet.
And everything I've done, I just tested it, and it wasn't small quantities. and those small quantities kept selling out. So that was a track record for me, some data for me to say, hey, I can double up on this or go a little heavier and then start scaling, you know?
Well, and anyone who follows your Instagram, I don't remember if it was on your Randall Pich page. We talked about this at dinner 2 nights ago with the video that you made on how to build a light box.
Right.
Right. So if you guys haven't seen it, was that on Randall Pich or was that on LiveFit?
That was on my personal one, yeah.
Okay, so that's on Randall Pich on Instagram. We'll make sure that's linked in the show notes. In fact, I'll get that exact post linked into the show notes. It's a video that you shot like, this is easy. This is what I could do this in my sleep. And it looked like a professional video that you would have to hire somebody, spend thousands of dollars, rent a studio to create.
Yep.
And I think that video summed up like the stack of your skills from baseline to advanced.
Yeah, and that was just with my iPhone, you know, because I've took some photography classes and did videography and all that stuff, and I just applied all that to what I know. And one thing that's very important was that I didn't come from money, so everything I did it on a low budget. So I used all my resources, scraped up everything to try to make it work, you know. So that taught me a skill, I guess, you know, to not go heavy on spending, you know. So
and as you say that, I want to be careful for people who are listening that they're hearing the appropriate money mindset, right? Because you were careful not to overspend. Yes. You were also careful to make sure you spend.
Right.
And there's a lot. I think that there's too much, especially in the business world of people teaching people business and investing and saving their money and stuff. It's like a penny saved is a penny earned. Well, a penny saved is a penny lost.
Right.
Right. These days.
Yeah.
So what do you think it was that allowed you to say, okay, I have some money. This is not my money. I need to spend it on something that can go make me more money. And then that is not my money. I need to spend that on something that can go make me more money. How do you do that when you don't have any money?
The track record of the things that have been sold already, you know, especially you're talking about the t-shirts, right?
Well, in general, like, you know, there's people who are listening to this who are going to be like, I make $2,000 a month, man. Like if I make 2,500, that 500 is going to go towards a credit card bill, or it's going to go towards something else. And the conversation could be had that you shouldn't have the credit card bill in the first place, but it's in place. So how do they justify not putting that $500 towards something that they feel like they need?
They don't need it then. You know, is it going to be a return? You know, like
a financial return?
Yeah.
Just knocking down the interest, right?
Yeah. You know, so it's just priorities too. You know what I'm saying? Like my priorities was the brand, taking it off the floor, you know, taking it off the ground. So I was living way under my means. You know, half the things you have in your house, you really don't need, you know? So like I was still eating cup noodles, ramen and stuff like that while I was personal training, you know, as I shouldn't, but because I wanted to put the money towards the merch and stuff, you know? So yeah, you just got to live under your means too. You can't have it all and can't be, you know.
Sure.
Yeah.
And I've also heard you talk about the idea that some of your motivations when you were coming up were driven by what's commercial means, you know, by material means.
Yeah.
And that there's a stigma that, you know, it's not cool to want a Lambo. Like you're supposed to want to save the world with your money, not buy a Lambo.
No.
But that's kind of bullshit.
Yeah, it is fucking complete bullshit, dude.
So how do you help somebody through that? Because that's a mindset that I think is big to get over.
If someone says, you know, you shouldn't dream for a Lambo, well, fuck you, dude. No, if that's going to make me work hard, dude, then I'm going to fucking dream for a Lambo. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So for those people, it's like, you're not in that position yet. All right, are you making X amount? Are you doing this? Are you motivated? You know, those are probably the people that aren't are the ones that are going to likely say that, you know. But because I remember posting a picture, it's like, damn, it was literally just a fucking dream. Like I posted a picture of it was like a fucking R8 or a Maserati just on Instagram, just because this is when I didn't have anything. I was just driving a regular car. I posted that picture because that sparked my motivation. And in my head, I was like, I really wanted that shit because I'm into cars, right? But now that I see it, it's nothing bad about that. It's what makes you get up and fucking want to work. That kind of stuff does. And if it does, fuck it. Why not use it, you know?
Well, how many employees do you have right now?
About 25 to 28, something roughly around there.
And so there's 25 to 28 people right now who are living a life of financial availability because you wanted to drive a Lambo.
Yeah, exactly.
There's nothing wrong with
There's
that.
nothing wrong with that.
In my opinion, unless if you're out there providing for 25 to 28 people and their families, don't worry about how other people are doing it.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I think there's a stigma on that, in that subject, in that topic, where you shouldn't spend your money on vote. Like, they don't know how hard you work. They don't know the grind that you've been through. So, to each their own. But it's like they don't know you and don't know your background. So, and they don't know what kind of other things that you've done to help others prior. Because we just don't speak on that stuff.
Sure.
Instagram and whatever shows 1 second of your 24-hour day, if that. So.
And when did you decide that it's okay for me to now spend this money on stuff for me? Like how much? You don't have to tell me if you don't want to exactly what number you had available to you, but at what point was it like, that's cool, I want a Lambo, I'm going to buy one?
Yeah, if I couldn't afford 2 or 3, I wouldn't get it. You know what I'm saying?
Like outright.
Yeah, outright. I want to get it.
Right.
So because you never want to be in debt. You know what I'm saying? And you never know. Business is business, dude. That shit can go away in a fucking second. The internet can just shut down and you'd be like, fuck. So that's always a scary thought. And I've always had that thought in my head that this shit is not going to last forever. So if you want it, okay, you better be able to afford it, and double up or triple up on that.
You're saying, I want to make sure it's clear. If you want to buy that new pickup truck, because most people are not getting ready to buy a Lambo right now. If you want to buy that new pickup truck, or you want to move into that new apartment, you should be able to afford 2 or 3 of them before you start making that move. And for you, you're not taking payments on a car like that. You're doing it all up front and just saying.
No, I'm not doing it all up front, but I'm making sure
it's
that,
there.
it's there. The reserves are there. Yeah.
And then you talked about not going into debt or not being in debt.
Right.
Do you think that there's a difference for somebody who's trying to grow their business, getting into debt on things that would potentially provide them profit on the backside?
Yes, of course.
So can you talk about the difference there?
Yeah.
Because money mindset, I think, is huge.
Yeah. In the beginning, I was really reserved, right? I used, I was able to scale from $300 to, I think, like 4 million, 5 million without any debt. None. That from that $300. I kid you not.
You're talking about annual 4 to 5 million.
Yeah.
And
that was like
how long did that take?
A year or two. Yeah, year or two. It was fucking crazy. And then this is when I got Sarah involved, because she used to work for a CPA firm. My fiance.
Sarah's your partner.
Yeah, Sierra. Yeah, Sarah, my fiance. She used to work at a CPA firm. We pulled her out. Now she's the CFO. And then now she started really educating me on cash flow. So then I was like, okay. I was like, should we really take out this loan to get this? She's like, yeah, look at your track record. If you do this is going to be this X amount times 10 or whatever.
Yes.
I'm like, dude, it was hard for me to do stuff like that.
Can you give people a concrete example so they understand what you're talking about? You don't have to, like I said, you don't have to discuss the exact numbers. I just want people to understand things. We talk to coaches and gym owners all the time.
Yeah.
And they're like, I can't afford that. I'm like, well, do you think it would work? They say, yes. I said, then you can't afford not to do it.
Okay.
So the idea of going into debt with the expectation that the debt is going to make you more than it costs.
Right.
Can you discuss that?
Yeah. So for my example in the clothing world, let's say I know that this new design of this technical hoodie that I designed is going to cost me like 50 grand to stock up on, because it's going to come from overseas, right? In my old state of mind is, okay, I'm going to raise 50 grand from t-shirts, not going into debt. I'm going to keep slinging t-shirts, which may take another, few months or whatever. While Sarah on her hand's like, no, let's take out like a line of credit or a loan, whatever, and get those hoodies, because with your track record, the return's gonna come back, and that profit on that hoodie is gonna be far more significant than the ones from the t-shirts. I'm like,
right. So Sarah would say something like to give people a visual of it. She would say, look, take a $50,000 loan that's going to cost you 10% over the course of the year. So if you take 50, the year it costs you 55, for example, because it's going to be a faster way for you to sell these sweatshirts, which is going to bring back $150, and that's going to make you $95,000 net, because you were willing to go into $50,000 worth of debt, knowing that you were going to have the profit on the other side of it.
Yep, and it's going to save in that time frame. You know what I mean? So
sure, because now you get 150 back in 3 months, and it's like, okay, well, we can roll this back up and do it again. Yeah. Yep,
exactly. But it was from a proven track record, the data, So with trainers, like if you're already scaling in a small scale, like you might as well invest and, go big, because you're already within that momentum, You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Well, and that's the pathway, if you will, that we teach coaches come through with us. It's come, work with us at our workshop, come through our immersion course where we teach you how to really monetize that information. Then jump into our pro path as a gym where we show you like, look, you can change the world in your gym if you just change yourself a little bit.
Right. Yeah. I used to think taking out loans and doing all that stuff was bad, until you talk to like a real financial advisor or a person that works in that field. And it was like, nah, this cash flow, we can really maximize your revenue within a short period of time. And then now that just changed the whole game. So
well, it's avoiding taking a loan to buy a Lambo.
Right.
and taking a loan to make you money. Have you ever played the game Cash Flow that Robert Kiyosaki made?
No.
It's a cool game for anybody who's listening to this or watching this who has no idea what you mean when you say cash flow. A lot of people I think hear cash flow and they're like, that's the money I make, right? No. That's not what cash flow is. There's a game called Cash Flow. You can find it online. Google it, by Robert Kiyosaki. It teaches people the idea of to buy this asset would cost this many dollars and put you into this much debt, and the return on it would be this many dollars and give you this much cash flow. And the idea is like to get yourself to more cash flow than you have active income from your salary, and then you can start taking big chances.
Yep.
So it's a cool game.
Oh, that's cool. No, I'm gonna look into that.
Yeah, I'll show it to you afterwards. So what I mean. If you were talking to, I have a person in mind. Her name is Asia Campbell. Okay, Asia, if you're listening and watching, this is for you. And if you're not listening and watching, fucking listen and watch. I told you I was going to do this. So Asia is a young woman who started off as she was designing T-shirts. Her company is called Atta Girl. Okay, she wanted to empower women. Then she became a coach at my gym. Then from there, she went on to bigger and better. She became a CSCS. She works with UFC fighters. And now she's starting to work with exclusively women to essentially empower them through fitness. And she's taken her clothing line to a back seat because she wants to really focus on the training.
Okay.
How does somebody like Asia go from empowering women through fitness, giving them the Atta Girl t-shirts as a part of their plan, to potentially being the next Live Fit as Atta Girl? Like, how does she know when it's time? Does that make sense?
Yeah. Is she already putting those shirts on her clients' back already?
Yeah.
And is she marketing it like a clothing brand? Has she like separated her?
She did. And then it became...
she was too busy? Or
it was just not enough money here, not enough money here, not enough money here, not enough money when you add them all up. Let me focus on one. And it's training. And then now that the training business is starting to grow, I think she has I think the brand name is cool. I think the message is cool. I think she has an opportunity to really help a lot of people. And I think that throwing one of her shirts on could be like a rally cry for a lot of women. How does she build her personal training business and then be like, okay, boom, let's get this out? Or is it kind of a 2-on-1 situation?
No, I think she can start branding and start treating that empowering woman brand separately itself. Obviously the huge market is going to be her training business, but use that platform to spread that awareness of the brand. So when she talks about the brand, talk about it as it's another thing. That's how I started doing it. Live Fit was part of RP Fitness, but now Live Fit is Live Fit Apparel. Started treating it differently. I started getting other influencers or other athletes that didn't necessarily train with me, but were big in the field, start repping that stuff and start talking about how that relates to their lifestyle, which is Live Fit, which is, being fit, right? So she can find other empowering women, maybe that she trains, maybe some of the fighters, have them wear the clothes, and then that's just got like a whole nother market, but have the shirt that they're wearing be available for purchase on an e-commerce platform. It doesn't necessarily have to be her personal website, but a separate website that she branded herself, like empoweringwoman.com, whatever her brand. What's the name of her brand?
Atta Girl.
Atta Girl? Yeah, so does she have attagirl.com?
Something.
No, so she needs to get...
I can ask her what she has. She has something.
But so she has a store for the brand. Oh, so then...
Because she used to do pop-up shops at events.
Okay. So then you eventually just build a team of marketers, which is either influencers, clients, fighters, whoever it is that can help push the brand. In return, maybe do some exchange of training. You know what I'm saying? So then after that, you get it... she already has like a couple tank tops, or I don't know.
She's got. I mean, she had a full blown line.
What happened to all the garments? Or
she did limited supplies because she. I mean, I can't speak for her.
Yeah, exactly.
But
Yeah, it's hard.
I think the part of what goes on there is it's like how do you get the athlete? How do you get the influencer without paying the influencer, without having the money? If they're not local, how do I, right? Like, so what you're describing is providing them with the asset of her knowledge.
Exactly.
And letting that be the payment.
Yep.
And they're not rocking a t-shirt. They're rocking a message. They support the message, and then other people latch onto the message and start buying the t-shirt to support the message, is what you're describing.
Exactly. And that's the thing about personal training. You have value. Your time is value. You know what I'm saying? So if you look, I'm looking for a graphic designer to train who wants to get fit. And a lot of graphic designers are, come on, man, they're sitting down on their asses all fucking day. You know, so they need training. Hey, can you give me some graphics, some logo assets? I'll give you like X amount of sessions.
Right.
Boom. That's right there.
Yeah, no, you're right.
Easy.
You're right.
Yeah.
So the next question I have for you in regards to that same kind of thing is, we've talked to gym owners who we work with who have coaches on their staff. And we're talking mostly right now about CrossFit gyms. And the coaches on their staff are potential superstars. What I mean by that is, one of the ways that we kind of see potential superstars who are frustrated is they'll start creating their own brand.
Right.
And market it outside of the gym platform or within the gym to people from the gym, instead of marketing the gym and like being a part of a team. And I understand both sides of it.
Right.
For the gym owner, they're like, yo, you work here, I pay your bills. Why don't you help me? And then I can help you. And for the coach, they're like, well, I'm capped here. So how would you recommend a coach who wants to support the gym that they're in, but also feels like, I can only go so far here? How do they toe that line and not become a competitor with the gym that they're at if they like the gym that they're at?
That's going to be hard. They're going to have to just talk to obviously the gym owner, because that's just like a gray area. If I know where you're coming from. They don't want to step on the gym owner's toes and whatnot, but if they're not able to scale within that gym, I don't know. I wouldn't stay there.
Right.
You know, so I would eventually leave. So either one of them has to have that wake up call.
And so on the flip side of that, if you were the coach in a gym and the gym owner's like, yo, Randall, I can tell you're going to be a superstar, man. How do I best support this so that I can be on the ride with you?
Oh, just start helping them promote that they're at their gym. You know what I'm saying? It doesn't hurt. It's only going to drive more traffic to the gym, you know? So, brand both, you know, help them supply the stuff like, hey, or I don't know, giving them an office and whatnot. Yeah. There's a lot of ways, but it's far more beneficial to support and help someone grow than just disconnect and then have a bunch of.
Totally.
Yeah. Like,
I think there's a big scarcity mindset, right? Like if Randall's working in my gym and his business grows bigger than mine, then what does that mean? Like, no, that's good.
That's good. That's more traffic, more eyes on you.
And not to mention, like maybe Randall moves on one day and doesn't work out of your gym anymore. But Randall developed out of your gym and now he's talking highly of you because you supported him. Do you think the best trainers in the world aren't going to want to come work at your gym and get that same kind of support?
Exactly.
That's the thing.
Yeah.
Do you know Hannah Eden? Have you ever met Hannah Eden?
No, I haven't.
So Hannah Eden owns a gym down in Fort Lauderdale. I think it's called Pump Fit Go. And she was on the podcast maybe a year or so ago. One of the things that she described was she was starting to become a brand in a gym. And the gym owner wasn't supportive of the fact that her brand of fitness was more successful than his brand of fitness. Like her classes were jammed and his classes were Cricket Town. So she went off. She's like, I got pushed out. I had to go to my own gym. And now her coaches are becoming brands themselves. And instead of pushing them out of her gym, she's facilitating their brands growing, because it's one of those, if we can house a brand this big in this space, we're a big deal.
Yep.
And I thought that was really smart.
Dude, yeah. So Alicia Lopez, the owner of No Limits Sports and Fitness Academy, she's was the owner of that gym that I rented out of, right? And that's how I got introduced to Bedros and whatnot. But she fully supported me. That was a real. I got to give it up for Alicia and Hilda. They were the gym owners. They let me put a little store, like a grid wall with the Live Fit clothing on it.
That's cool.
Yeah, so it got exposure, like constant exposure from other people's clients too, other trainers' clients. You know, and Alicia was all sweet about it. She was 100% supportive. So that I know helped me a lot too, and it helped me
get a piece of that?
Yeah, but I didn't mind.
No, of course. I want to put it out for people.
Yeah, exactly. She got a piece. We were both winning.
Right.
You know, it's a win-win, and it just kept growing. And then, dude, she's still crushing it too. And
do you still Live Fit in her spot?
I do not. I do not. Yeah.
In a retail location.
I know. but now that I think about it, dude, without that, it was very limiting. You know what I'm saying? That definitely gave, obviously, my apparel brand a competitive edge. You know what I'm saying? Because it was able to be exposed to everybody else that was walking through the gym. And for her, she would collect a piece off the top every month or so. You know what I'm saying? So we're just both winning.
Well, it also looks like a bigger deal at that point.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
So a question for you about that, just because I feel like I know the answer to this question, but I don't want to assume. Were you just hanging shirts on hangers, or was there a display? Like, was it, boom, this is the Live Fit wall, where it felt like a retail store, or was it like, yeah, let's hang a shirt on a hanger?
No, it was a Live Fit wall. Right. It was like a low budget Live Fit wall at the time, but it was a Live Fit wall.
But I've seen you do low budget stuff that doesn't look low budget.
I guess, yeah.
so I imagine the wall didn't look low budget despite the fact you didn't spend a ton of money.
Pretty clean, yeah. Man, I wish I had old photos. Probably an old phone. Yeah, dude, I got to bring that out.
Yeah,
no one's ever seen it.
You got to bring that. That's like the old
dude. Yeah,
like the Apple started in this garage, Microsoft started like you got to have one of those.
No, that's all hyping me up now. I know I have those photos too. Yeah.
Well, and so you've since, you went from, like I said, band to personal trainer to apparel owner. And now you have the Randall Pich brand, which is kind of like your motivational, your posters, your personal branded clothing.
Exactly.
You have Live Fit, which I would describe as either active wear or streetwear. Like you can wear it either way that you want it. It's kind of representative of both. And you have Top Threads, which I view as the aesthetic is more of a higher end feel streetwear. I could be mistaken, but is
Nope, exactly.
Okay.
Yep.
And then there's Skylab Prints, which is, I have a canvas. People have seen it. It's my favorite post is if you want to be world class, prepare to be unrelatable. I got that put on a canvas so I can look at it and I'm like, damn, no one is understanding me right now. I'm like, oh, okay, well, I want to be world class, so people don't have to. How do you do all of that and not have all of them just become like,
So I had to first perfect one, so the Live Fit brand, that's what I call my baby, my bread and butter. That's the conglomerate, brand, just huge. So I had to perfect that first before I put my hands in anything else. Because I tried prior, I started to do a couple other brands because I thought I was ready while Live Fit was really scaling, but no, it didn't work out. Live Fit really needed my attention, from right when I got up to when I go to bed, you know what I'm saying? So I had to perfect
eyes open to eyes closed out.
Yeah. So I had to perfect that in every department, first before I can get enough comfortability and time to do anything else. But with that, when I did perfect it and after that, I wanted to make sure if I did start something else, it wasn't going to affect my time and efforts of Live Fit. It wouldn't, so I had to build a team, I had to build everything and put it in place. So when I did make Top Threads, it was plug and play for me.
Sure.
I can kind of oversee and make sure the flow is all right. You know what I'm saying? And then aside from the brands, RP, Top Threads and Live Fit, Skylab Prints just made the most sense because we were using third-party contractors to print our own stuff. And there's nothing wrong with that, but it's because I knew how to run that business as well. I used to run a silk screening and print company when I was 16 years old. So I was like, you know what, fuck it. I'm going to buy my own printer.
Well, and you were doing a lot of it. It wasn't like you had to do a show every quarter.
Right. Exactly. So fuck it. We bought a printer, bought a plotter, got the program, and I started and doing the stuff for Live Fit first, right? And then I was like, so we bought the printer. Let me backtrack. We bought the printer, got the plotter, and the plotter is the stuff that cuts. If you guys don't know, it cuts the vinyl for decals and stickers. So we got those two machines, and we didn't actually turn it into Skylab Prints until about 2 years later. I just had it making Live Fit stuff, and then
stickers and bumpers and whatever.
Yeah, all the decals, all whatever, vinyl print walls and all that stuff. Until I was like, dude, why the fuck aren't we doing this for other peeps? Because I was doing it for Top Threads, for the RP stuff, for the canvases. We would make canvases, upholster, everything there, the staples and everything. So we're like, you know what? Let's build a site. Because I know how to build sites too. Built a site, the e-commerce platform, put all the templates there, and let's just test it. So we did all the tests, made an upload tool and all that, and then like, fuck it, let's just do it. And then we started marketing it, and it hit because of all the markets that we've had before from my platforms and everything else.
Well, you establish credibility, and then it becomes I trust Randall.
Yeah.
I trust Randall's brands. If that's what Randall's using for his events, I'm going to trust that he's going to do a good job by me. He wouldn't put crap up for himself.
Right.
So I'm in.
Yep. That's very true. Credibility is very, very important,
So you're, what are you, 31, 32 years old now?
31, yeah.
Okay. So there's a lot of people out there who I think they hear your story and it sounds a lot like overnight.
Yeah. Oh, no.
Right? They're like 31 years old. The guy's a millionaire in his 30s driving Lamborghinis, Range Rovers, and buying houses in Newport Beach. Like, how long does somebody need to be? Let me backtrack. Somebody is thinking about, like, I want to be the next Randall Pich, or I want to be a successful trainer, whatever. How long until they know what they're doing is right or wrong before they change the process? The term trust the process. If your process is fucked, you can't trust it.
Right.
How long do they stay on before they know?
I started when I was 15. I didn't know I started until like recently that it's a cumulative of my whole life. You know what I'm saying? So I don't know if this is going to lead me to something else as well. I'm always optimistic, so I'm always keeping my minds open, but I'm just keeping everything in my back pocket, like all the design stuff, all the little things I've gained, knowledge I've gained. I've always just kept that in my back pocket because I never know where I'm going to use it. So it's not like I don't know if I'm in the right path or not. If it's working, I'm just going to keep going. I like to go. That's my entrepreneurial spirit, I guess you could say. But yeah, I don't know, as long as you're not like completely losing, then you're chilling, you're fine,
Right. I feel like if you can take the lesson out of the last failure,
right,
apply it to the next attempt, and have that part not fail, you're still good.
Yep, exactly. You just said it perfectly.
if you're just fail, and then you pivot and retry and it still fails, then
yeah, that's a red flag. Okay, maybe change your business or field completely. Maybe this is not a calling for you, because there is a lot of sayings out there. You have to fail to fucking blah blah blah. But if you keep fucking failing, like, hey, you got to be smart enough as well. Look at it from an outside perspective and like, hey, maybe this isn't for me. Let me try something else. That's,
sure.
And a lot of people, I think, don't realize that, they want to be this thing that they just aren't, So,
well, the other side of that sword is, I get it. Like, Randall took 15 years or 10 years, 12 years, whatever it ends up being. And they're like, well, I'm in my 18th year. And eventually I'm like, no, dude,
no.
Like, you might be doing it wrong. And you might never get there. So
right.
You need to be aggressively auditing what you're doing and making decisions along the way.
Yeah, you have to be auditing.
Dude, I don't know if you know anything about my background or how much you know about it.
What's up with you, huh?
I had a chiropractic clinic. I had 3 CrossFit gyms, 2 of which were miserable failures. One because I had absentee management, one because I had the wrong insurances, one that did just fine. I had a t-shirt.
Oh yeah, you're telling me,
in college. I had I started off shoveling people's snow. I tried to make a backpack because I have my chiropractic license. I'm like, all these backpacks are wrong. I'm going to make a backpack from China. That flopped. I had a personal training business that I was going into hotels and installing personal trainers into hotels. That flopped because, I was going to Staples and making business cards and showing up at the Intercontinental Hotel. But there were so many failures along the way, and the lessons learned were not, I'm a failure. It was, this is why this business didn't work. Change that.
Yep.
Next time you try something.
Yeah. And you failed in different fields. It's not just, okay, I'm going to try this again.
No, I found a lot of ways to fail.
Yeah.
A lot of ways.
Yeah. A lot of different ways. And that's good because you're applying those failures to, exactly.
And then the last chunk question that I'll ask you is, I think one of the things that it takes to make a great entrepreneur is the almost like a disdain for good and a longing for the uncertain opportunity of great. Like, this is good, but I got to throw this out if I want to be able to get to great. And I don't even know if throwing it out is a good idea or not.
Right.
How do you balance that?
I don't know if I even balance that, but my fiance says that I'm just crazy sometimes. I'm always looking for the next thing because as an entrepreneur, when you hit that success, that first success, it gets addicting. Yeah. You want that feeling again, that high, right? So that's just what I'm shooting for. It's not necessarily about money anymore. It's just about fuck, I want to see this thing grow. I want to see this grow. No matter what I do, I want to make it just, big and have, that goes for all the brands, Sky Labs, whatever. I'm always shooting for the next thing, because you can be comfortable, but my mind's not there yet. I want more. Right
and I mean, correct me if I'm wrong. I imagine that the next thing for you comes about as a natural progression of the last thing. It's not like, how can I get out of this and into that?
Right. Yeah, no, it's a cumulative. Yeah. I keep everything. It's just, I'm building off of one another, and it's just building. It
becomes, I have a problem. How can I fix my problem? Mm-hmm. Other people could use that fix too. Mm-hmm. Let me sell that.
Yeah. No, for sure.
I love it. Any closing messages that you would want to give to the young trainer? When I say young, I don't necessarily mean that you're 18 years old or 15 years old. I mean young in your career trainer who's like, I'm trying to be more than a guy who just trains clients or a girl who just trains clients.
Make sure, if you're a trainer, no matter what, if you don't think that you're walking around like a billboard, you are your brand. So with that being said, even if you work at a corporate gym, whatever, brand yourself, get a logo, get your name out there as a trainer yourself, because you never know where that's going to lead. And get some merch if you can for your clients. Just start branding yourself. Everything should have your logo on it, your own personal logo. If you don't have one, go get one. Go find a graphic designer and get one. Mm-hmm. If you have a private gym that you're working out of, and no merchandise, go get some merchandise. Whether it be shaker cups, water bottles, or T-shirts. Brand yourself regardless. You're a personal trainer. You carry your brand everywhere you go. So yeah.
I love it. That's words of wisdom from Randall Pich, CEO of Live Fit Apparel, Top Threads, Skylab Print, and what's the personal brand called? Just RP?
RP, yeah, I guess.
RP. And all around awesome dude. I want to throw a thank you out there to two people. Number one being Bedros Koulian. I first met you at Bedros' Empire Mastermind when I came for a sit-in, and that was a valuable. I mean, now here we are talking in my office. Mm-hmm. And Lorelai Fidesco, who really, after 2 years of kind of loose communication, tied it all together and brought this thing in. And that, guys, for you, is the value of networking, right? You're only going to go as far as the people who can help you go.
Exactly.
So get out there. Randall, where can people find you? We'll get in the show notes, but I want them to hear it from you too.
They can find my on my personal website is randall-pitch.com.
And that's P-I-C-H.
Yeah, P-I-C-H. My Instagram, Randall_pitch. But all the social platforms that are on the randall-pitch.com website. Yep, and the YouTube's on there and stuff. Everything's there. All the brands are there too as well. All my brands, Skylab Prints, Top Threads, Live Fit, all that.
Perfect. And just so you guys know, before I let you go, Randall drives the Lambo, and staff members of him are also driving whatever they want to drive, because it's not all about all the money flows to Randall. It's about facilitating the growth for the people in your business so that they want to facilitate the growth for you. And I have a lot of respect for that.
Thanks. Thank you.
All right, that's going to be a wrap for this episode of the Active Life Podcast. And guys, remember, if you are looking to enhance your fitness business, if you're sitting there thinking, man, I would love to be able to go on vacations. I would love to be able to take 2 weeks off and not have my business fall apart. And most importantly, if you want to be a part of the movement that we are creating, facilitating, and seeing come to life, which is coaches and gyms becoming the healthcare clinic of the future, helping people who've gotten hurt working out, helping people who've been told they have to work out around that, having people be told they're too old to do that, find new hobbies. If hearing things like that for your clients is frustrating for you and you want to learn the skills to solve those problems and also get paid very well to do it, head to activelifeprofessional.com and let's get talking. Till then, turn pro.